Hello again, and welcome to Beyond the Comfort Zone. It's James English here on a bit of a solo episode, kind of a midweek, not our typical Monday, but I've got a story behind that. So I wanted to just make sure we did connect this week. Garen has been out there busy putting out lots of social media content. Again, I encourage you to go check him out. He has a lot of really good stuff. He's posting multiple times a day, typically. And Garen's always got something going on. There's always a great story in there. I also want to call out. We attempted to record a live or do a live episode earlier this week. The technology just wouldn't cooperate, so we did get it off. But what we did attempt to do was record that episode. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because that was an important episode. We have been accused at times of only talking about the struggles, only talking about the rough side of the mountain, if you will. And I wanted to take some time to celebrate Garen. Garen has been going through some transformational work, and I wanted to take some time to celebrate him. So he didn't actually know some of the things we were going to talk about in the episode, and I think that'll come through when you see it. But I wanted to make sure that we took 30 minutes, I think, or so of time to really talk about what he's been doing, talk about the progress he's been making. He's had some big wins recently. I'm very proud of him. And I wanted to make sure that we shared that with the audience, right? I think it's important to do that. So with that said, I just want to give you a quick word right now that's been on my heart. I have had a challenging week. Really, truly a challenging month, if I'm honest. When you're running a small business, there's always things going on. Obviously, I have stuff happening here. I've got stuff happening overseas with my team there. And so there's always day and night something going on, something to get and keep my attention. And so this week, we've had one of our clients has been going through some significant challenges, and we were brought in to just help them navigate it, help them kind of walk through this turnaround situation that they're in. And it's been, good. They're very happy with what we're doing, but it does take a lot of energy. And so as I've been giving to that and kind of pouring out, my cup has been slowly running low. And I found myself really taking stock of my life and saying, James, what are all the things you're doing? What are all the things you're involved in? What's working? What's not working? And what cuts do we need to make? How do we refine life so that you can get a little energy back? And I'm honest, one of the things that I put on that altar was this whole media sphere that we started a little over a year ago. So for those of you that don't know, just about a year ago, a little bit more, we started the Growth Mindset Network. My wife and I started it with the goal of reaching out and giving positive content to a broad audience. We were gonna have multiple presenters on. We were going to, really try to develop some shows and put it all out there. And we invested very heavily in all of that. And not all of that has come to fruition as yet. Some things are still ideas, some things we're still working on. But at the end of the day, it hasn't all come to fruition the way we originally thought. Now, if I'm honest, the only thing we were told to do was start. We felt compelled to start, learn, grow. That's it. And that all the other stuff we thought would come, truly and honestly, were probably things we added. Because if I'm honest, we were learning so much, we weren't likely ready to grow in the way we thought we were ready to grow. And so we've been, Garen and I, who's a partner in this with us, have been working to put out content on a weekly basis, and through a variety of attempts and approaches, we try to get those messages out there. And recently, we've noticed, views haven't been that great. Engagement hasn't been that great. And so I said, okay, is this something that I now need to consider putting on the bench in favor of some other things? And why am I bringing up my client that's having a problem and this? And I'll tell you why. So I was giving that some thought. Okay, do I really just kind of put this on pause, focus on some other things, and then come back to visit this one day soon, or hopefully in the future? And as I thought about it, I recognized, man, I love this. I have seen myself transform through this medium, and in a way that I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back into the shell. I enjoy those conversations, in our studio, talking with Garen, talking with others. My wife, you'll see, she's coming up soon, talking with her, just about life, just about what's going on, and just having an honest, unscripted, mostly conversation about the things we're facing and how we're approaching them. And so I feared that putting that down would cause me to kind of go back. And I'm a believer that once you commit to growth, you can't go back. It's actually impossible to go back. To become a lesser version of yourself just intellectually doesn't make a lot of sense. And so I was going about my workday this week, and I happened to have a call on my schedule with the vendor of my client that is, my client owes some money to. And we've been working with several vendors on getting caught up and doing a number of other things. And so, this is the first time I'm talking to this company. My client owes them a fair amount of money. And so I was represented to the vendor as, hey, this is the guy you need to talk to. Him and his team are helping with operations right now. Okay, fantastic. So get on the call, meet the gentleman, very, very nice gentleman. And after the initial pleasantries, hey, my name is James. Okay, your name is such and such. Okay. The next words out of his mouth were, I looked you up and I found your podcast. And I said, what? Anytime anybody mentions that, my podcast in my work environment, I always get a little nervous. It's happened a couple of times, and it doesn't matter how often it happens, I still get nervous. But he mentioned, I found your podcast. I said, oh, okay, that's wonderful. Thank you. He was like, I found myself watching several episodes. Okay, fantastic. Tell, how would you think? Did it hit the spot? Should we stop? Should we keep going? And he said, James, I'm going to tell you, I watch a lot of podcasts. And if I'm honest, a lot of that stuff is scripted. But I can tell that you and your partner are truly speaking from the heart. It's authentic, it's real, and it looks good. And I just stopped and said to myself, James, a random encounter on the very week you were considering shutting it off has told you that it's reached its intended audience. Your commitment to not being about views, but being about impact has been validated in this moment. If the 100 views or the 10 views or the 5 views or the 1 view you get is the person who needed to hear what you had to say, it was worth it. It was worth it. And the gentleman went on to say a few other things. And again, I'm not great at taking compliments, so I struggled mightily with his kind words. But I will tell you what I took from that was a message not from him, but through him that was being passed to me. And that message was, I did not tell you to give up, because your mission is being accomplished. Whether you know it or not, whether you see it or not, your mission is being accomplished. What I need you to do is lean in. What I need you to do is continue to be faithful. What I need you to do is continue to take the steps you've been taking to grow and learn, and the rest will take care of itself. So why am I telling you this? Because listen, I'm sure some of you are struggling with some of the same things. You felt compelled to do something, you felt passionate about something, and you jumped in. And you jumped in thinking that this thing would take off without a hitch, it would be instantly successful. And that was good enough. That was good enough for you to start. And then in the middle, things get rough. It doesn't feel like you have a market. Doesn't feel like your customers care. Doesn't feel like your product is hitting the spot. And you come up on a place where you're like, what am I going to do? It's taking a lot of energy. It's taking a lot of time. What am I going to do? And then you're at a crossroads and you make a decision. And if you're lucky, you have a chance encounter. You are tuned in to the right frequency to have a chance encounter where a message will be passed to you like a note in 4th grade. And that note will say, hey, I see you. What you're doing is making a difference. And that note, that validation is the fuel you need to keep going. So if that is you, which I think we all find ourselves there at some point or another. But if that is you, my message to you is listen for the voices, listen for the notes, keep your eye on what's coming your way. Don't be closed-minded to direction or redirection. And when it comes, react and respond. My response is I'm not giving up. My response is I'm going to continue to put out content. My response is I'm going to be what I was called to be, even when it doesn't look like it's working. So the challenge is same for you. Go, do, be. Do not give up. It's right around the corner. Instructions and validation are at your doorstep. The challenge is, how will you respond? Thank you so much for taking a few minutes with me today. Again, this is James English with Beyond the Comfort Zone. Again, please go check out my co-host, Garen Sprav, and all of his social media stuff. He's tagged on a lot of these videos. Actually, I'm going to tag him on this one too, so you can go and check him out. We are so happy that you have engaged with us here on the Growth Mindset Network. We continue to believe we're called to a higher purpose, and the message that we're delivering are life-changing. So if you believe in that, please like, subscribe, share, do everything you can, because at the end of the day, we are here to help and serve you. Have a wonderful day.